Hey everyone, welcome to Code Harmony. Today we are going to solve LeetCode challenge 3042. Count prefix and suffix pairs. This problem belongs to the string matching category and it has been asked in FICO, Autodesk and Uber in the past. Let me help you understand the problem statement with the help of an example. Usually we have three parts of the problem. What is given to us, what operation we have to perform, and what we have to return from the function we are going to implement. Okay. As a input, we are given a string array words. And what operation we have to perform is, we need to pick pair I and j. Let's say we are picking two strings from this array. Let's say this is I and this is j. And then we need to check whether I string is the prefix and suffix of the jth string. Here what is the ith string? That is a. And what is the jth string? That is ABA. Here if you see that this ith string A is the prefix as well as suffix. This is the prefix of the jth string. This is the suffix of the jth string. If that is the case, in that case we will consider it as a true, or we just have to increment our counter. It means that this pair is valid. And what we have to return from the problem is, return the integer denoting number of index pairs such that I is less than j, and that is a true. So there can be n number of pairs. Such a I pair is having index I and index j, and we also need to make sure that I is less than j. It means if I value is 0, then I can pick any one of these three. 1, 2, 3. If I value is this 1, then I can pick only 2 and 3. And such that if the ith string is the prefix and suffix of the jth string, then it is a true and it's a valid pair. Increment our counter and in the end just return the counter. So that is the problem statement, finding all the pairs. So now how we can solve this problem? This is the input words array and we just have to find out all the pairs ij such that I is less than j and ith string is the prefix as well as suffix of jth string. Let's have a look on the constraints. Constraints are like this. The words dot length is 50 and the length of the word is less than 10. So if we are going with the brute force, what is the brute force? We are picking this as a I. Then how many possibilities of j we are having? We have 3 possibilities of j. We are matching I with every j, that whether this ith string is prefix and suffix of jth string. If j is 1, then ith string is the prefix and suffix. So yeah, this is a valid pair. I0, j1 is a valid pair. And now I0, j2, yeah, this is also a valid pair. I0, j2. Now check for I0 and j3. Yeah, it is also a valid pair because A is a prefix of the string, A is a suffix of the string. So I0, j3 is also a valid pair. So now 3 pair we are having where I is equal to 0. Now we will check for I equal to 1. It means this is my I and now this is the j. Whether ABA is a prefix of this, ABA is a prefix of this and ABA is a suffix of this. So I1 and j2 is a valid pair. And AB is not a prefix of it, so we'll just ignore it. And now we will see with this string as a I. And now there is no other j possible. And no need to consider this as a I. Okay. So this is how you will do this problem. And now we are having 4 valid pairs. And my answer would be 4. That is an integer answer. So now I hope you have understood what I did. I did 2 loop. First one is I, second one is with j pointer. For I equal to, and I will go from 0 index to n minus 1. N minus 1 is the last index. So if the last index is I, there is no j. So keep it n minus 1 minus 1. Okay, this is for the first loop. And the second loop I can keep from j equal to I plus 1 till n minus 1. till the last index. So now these two loops are going to give me all the pairs of I and j, and now I need to see whether this ij pair is valid or not. And how can I check that? I will see whether this I is the prefix and suffix of j. You will just check it, then you will just increment the counter, and in the end you can return the counter. That's all. So now what is the time and space complexity of this approach? Here you can directly see that you are using two loops. This loop can go till n times, and this loop will go in the worst case it will go n-1 time, and then it will be n-1 time. In short, both are going linear. So the overall time complexity of this four loops are n square. And here you also need to do something, that is matching I string as a prefix and suffix of the j string. So this one can go as the size of I. Let's say the size of every word is go till m, then this will also be added to the time complexity. So ultimately the time complexity is n square to explore all the possibilities of I and j and m to find the matching. This is the time complexity. What about the space complexity? I don't require any extra space. So this is our approach. Here what we did is we just did the brute force, nothing like that. There can be some advanced variation of this algorithm where you are dealing with the trie data structure that you can explore by your own as a follow-up to this problem. And I'm not going to follow this approach because that is also going to give me the same time complexity. So this is fine for now. And it's a beginner friendly problem to get started with the string topic, especially string matching. Now let's code this problem. Here we need to write two loops. First one, let's say that is I pointer, I equal to 0, I less than n minus 1. That is going till n minus 2. I plus plus. Okay, this is my first loop. And what is my second loop? J equal to I plus 1 and j less than n and j plus plus. These are the two. And what is n? N is the length of this words array. Words dot length. And I also require a counter that is going to be number of valid pairs, and in the end I just had to return that counter. Now you need to see whether this ij pair is valid or not. How do we get to know? Firstly, let's capture these strings. String s1 is equal to words I. String s2 is equal to words j. If it is valid, then increment the counter. And how do we check the validity? As per the problem statement, string 1 is both prefix and suffix of string 2. So string 1 should be both prefix and suffix of string 2. It means string 2 starts with string 1 and string 2 ends with string 1, because string 1 is the prefix and suffix of string 2. So string 2 is going to be start with string 1 and string 2 is going to end with string 1. Okay, now let's check over sample test cases. Sample test cases are passed. I'm submitting the problem. It got submitted successfully. I hope you understood the approach. Thank you guys. Bye bye.